For decades, financial gurus have preached the same advice. Invest in the stock market, let compound interest do its magic, and in 40 years, you'll be rich. Sounds great, right? But here's the problem. It's a slow, unreliable gamble. A conversation. At a dinner party, imagine two friends sitting across from each other at a dinner party, sipping wine and discussing their retirement plans. Friend number 1. I've been maxing out my 401k for years. The experts say if I keep investing consistently, I'll retire comfortably. Friend number 2, smiling knowingly. That's what they tell everyone. But have you ever stopped to think about how much control you actually have over that plan? Friend number 1 pauses, intrigued. What do you mean? Friend number 2, think about it. What happens if the market crashes just before you retire? Or if inflation eats away at your savings? That comfortable retirement might not look so comfortable anymore. This conversation isn't unique. It happens every day. Let's break down why the promise of compound interest often falls short. The false promise of compound interest. The core idea behind compound interest is simple. Invest money, plus wait a long time. Big returns. The promise? Start with $10,000 today. Let it grow at 10% per year, and in 40 years, you'll have millions. But here's what they don't tell you. You can't control the market. A steady 10% return every single year is a fantasy. The market crashes, inflation eats into gains, and one bad decade can wipe out years of progress. Case study. Sarah's lost decade. Sarah diligently invested $500 a month in her retirement account starting at age 25. For the first 20 years, her portfolio grew steadily. Then came the Great Recession of 2008. In a single year, her investments lost nearly 40% of their value. By the time she reached 65, despite recovering some losses, her nest egg was far smaller than projected. Worse still, rising healthcare costs and inflation meant her million-dollar retirement fund barely covered basic expenses. Dialogue. Sarah and her financial advisor. During a meeting with her advisor, Sarah expresses frustration. Sarah, I did everything right. I saved, invested, waited patiently. Why am I still struggling? Advisor. Compound interest works best when markets cooperate. Unfortunately, we can't predict or control downturns. To truly secure your future, consider diversifying into assets you can influence, like rental properties or side businesses. Inspired, Sarah begins renting out a vacation home she owns and launches an Etsy shop selling handmade crafts. These new income streams provide stability, even as her retirement account fluctuates. Time is your biggest cost. 40 years? 50 years? By the time you get rich, you might not even be around to enjoy it. Example. John versus Mark. Consider two individuals, both starting their wealth-building journey at 25. John relies on compound interest. He invests $300 monthly in index funds, aiming for a comfortable retirement at 65. Over 4 decades, his disciplined approach yields a respectable $750,000, but only after taxes, fees, and inflation erode its purchasing power. Mark builds scalable assets. Instead of waiting, Mark starts flipping houses in his spare time. Within 5 years, he generates enough profit to purchase rental properties. By 40, his real estate portfolio produces $10,000 monthly in passive income. Unlike John, Mark enjoys financial freedom decades earlier and has more energy to savor it. Who would you rather emulate? Your money loses value. Inflation erodes purchasing power. That $1 million in 40 years might buy you what $250,000 does today. Real-world example. Lisa's retirement. Reality. Lisa dreamed of retiring at 65 with $1 million in savings. However, by the time she reached retirement age, inflation had skyrocketed due to economic instability. Her once dreamy nest egg now struggles to cover rising costs for housing, food, and medical care. Frustrated, Lisa reflects on missed opportunities to build wealth faster through entrepreneurship or real estate. She realizes too late that relying solely on compound interest left her vulnerable to factors beyond her control. Why the strategy fails. Imagine two people. Person A invests $250 a month in the stock market for 40 years. After decades of patience, they finally have a few $1,000,000. Person B spends those 40 years building assets, businesses, real estate, intellectual property that generate income right now. They don't wait decades for a payout. Who's better off? Person B. Why compound interest alone won't make you wealthy. Wealth is created by leveraging opportunities, not waiting decades. Can you demand a 200% return on your investments this year? No. Can you control the stock market? No. Can you control how many years you have left to live? No. That's the problem. The only way to break free from the slow lane is to stop playing by weak rules. Dialogue. Emma and her mentor. Emma, a graphic designer earning $60,000 annually, confides in her mentor during a networking event. Emma: I've been saving faithfully for retirement, but I feel like I'm missing something. Is there a faster way to build wealth? Mentor: Absolutely. Stop trading hours for dollars and start creating systems that multiply value. For example, design digital templates and sell them online. Once created, they can generate income indefinitely without requiring additional effort. Inspired, Emma launches an Etsy shop selling customizable invitations and logos. Within months, her side hustle grows into a six-figure business, providing immediate cash flow while her retirement account slowly accumulates. The real wealth equation. Instead of relying on slow-growing investments, wealth is built by leveraging value creation. Build a business that generates income with or without you. Automate processes, hire employees, or outsource tasks so your business operates independently. Create scalable assets like digital products, software, or intellectual property. Once created, these products can sell endlessly without requiring additional effort. Invest in things you can control, like real estate, where you can increase income and appreciation through renovations, tenant management, or strategic purchases. The goal is multiplication, not stagnation. Example: David's scalable business. David, a software engineer, develops an app that helps freelancers manage invoices and track payments. Initially, he spends months coding and marketing the product. Once launched, the app generates $5,000 monthly in subscription fees. Unlike his job, which requires constant input, this income stream grows exponentially as users refer others and upgrades are released. Don't wait for wealth. Create it. The idea of get rich slowly works for people who are okay with being old before they're wealthy. But if freedom is the goal, relying on compound interest is a trap. Instead of waiting 40 years to see if the market plays in your favor, take control now. Because the real question isn't, will I be rich when I'm old? It's, how can I create wealth today? The crossroads. Back at the dinner party, friend number 2 shares final advice. Friend number 2: Look, I used to think like you, grinding away, hoping my investments would pay off someday. Then I realized I was playing the wrong game. So I started freelancing on weekends, learning coding skills, and eventually launched an app. Now, I make more in a month than I used to in a year. Friend number 1 looks skeptical. That sounds risky. What if it doesn't work? Friend number 2: What if it does? Staying stuck is its own kind of risk. At least this way, I'm taking steps toward freedom instead of waiting for permission to live. Which path will friend number 1 choose? Take back. Your future life is unpredictable. Waiting for retirement to start living is like gambling with your happiness, and the odds aren't in your favor. The wealthy understand this principle intuitively. You don't wait for permission to win. You create your own wins. By rejecting the traditional reliance on compound interest, you reclaim control. You stop sacrificing today for a hypothetical tomorrow. You start designing a life that aligns with your values, passions, and aspirations. So, rewrite the script. Build wealth on your terms. Live boldly, intentionally, and freely. Because in the end, the greatest scam isn't losing money, it's losing time. Don't let them take yours.